Alright, what is up everybody? Welcome back to another Splatoon 3 video. This is going to be kind of a continuation to the previous video I did, which I'll link at the end of this video. In the last video I did, regarding in the same topic of how to actually build your own gear. This is going to be a shorter video, giving you guys the insight and pretty much telling you guys how to find recommended gear. I've been getting a lot of people asking me for certain gear builds for certain weapons. And the real thing about Splatoon 3 is that is really difficult to do is give people other builds, because everybody plays all really differently. Nobody really plays the same. You can have the same weapon, but there's a bunch of different ways, and it just depends on the player that's actually playing the weapon. And that's the one real unique thing about gear, is that you can build the gear to fit your own playstyle. So it's really hard to actually give recommendations of a specific gear loadout and a gear build for a specific weapon to some random people, just because I don't know how they play and I've never seen them play before. And comparing them to my playstyle with the same weapon, it can be entirely different. And when you're going in game and you're building gear, with how long it takes to grind ability chunks, you don't want to be throwing ability chunks and creating gear that's not going to be useful to you at all, just because it just doesn't make sense, and you're wasting a bunch of your time and you're losing out on a bunch of ability chunks, and it takes forever to get those. So, and it's just, you're losing out on so much time that you've spent grinding for nothing. So what this is here is a Splatoon 3 build, pretty much a recommended build thing. If you guys know what this is Sendo's site. I used this site in the last video. A lot of people don't even know this part of this site actually exists. I'll leave a link to this in the description down below. But pretty much what this is, this has an entire list of every single weapon currently in Splatoon 3. Depending on who you're watching this, there also might be more weapons. There's supposed to be different weapon variants and stuff like that here in the next month or so. But depending on when you're watching this, at least for right now, when this video is being uploaded and recorded, this is every single weapon in Splatoon 3 up until now. So if you would like a build and you want a recommended build for any weapon in the game, this entire site has an entire list of builds. So I'm going to show you guys real quick. Pretty much say I want to build, I've been getting a lot of requests for the Splatramatic. So let's click on the Splatramatic. Now what this site does is this site takes into consideration, everybody, you can link your Discord to this site as well, and you can submit your builds. This site pretty much takes the builds from some of the best players and the top ranked players, and it puts them on this site for recommendations for builds. So I got the Splatramatic, and I'm looking at builds for the Splatramatic, and it's giving you different types of builds. So these are some of the top ranked players and some of the best players. PK Fuzzy, I think that's a former pro player. There's a few other ones here as well. A lot of these are random. I don't know these people. At least they're Discord hashtags. But there may be some former pro players, pro players that put builds on here as well. I'm sure there are with a lot of other weapons. But these are all a bunch of different builds to give you guys recommendations on what to run. Because I know there's a lot of people that are asking, oh, what do I want to run a gear build with this so-and-so type weapon? What do I run with this weapon? What do I run with Hyder Splatling? What do I run with the Splatramatic? What do I run with Blaster? Etc, etc. If you guys are wanting recommended builds, these are our builds. These are builds for whatever weapon you want. And take into consideration as well, these are builds for specific modes even. So this first build is for Splat Zones. It has a little icon right here in the corner, and it shows you the date that it was uploaded as well, which this is actually currently up to today. There's a few that are here that are a little bit older, which shouldn't really matter at all. Nothing's really changed at all with the gear slots and abilities at all. Nothing's been changed. So it doesn't really matter what time it's updated unless they start balancing some of the gear abilities and stuff, which they have not done yet, at least up until this current time. Here's another one, a burst bomb type build for Splat Zones. You got a LDE rush type build. Here's another build for Turf War that has a bunch of quick respawn. That's just for pure painting. Here's a build that's for every single mode. You got Ninja Squid, sub power up, stealth jump, super jump, ink resistance, all this stuff on these builds. Like keep into consideration as well, like these builds, like I said, everything with these builds and builds in this game, the one thing that makes gear builds so unique is that it fits everybody's playstyle, and you can make a build to fit your specific playstyle. So just because a build's on this list doesn't mean it'll fit your playstyle. Like these are purely just builds by like some of the better players and like the majority of the community that are on this list, pretty much to give you recommendations and kind of just see what other people are running. As you guys can obviously see as well, Ninja Squid is on a lot of these builds, because Ninja Squid right now is one of the best like abilities in the game until it gets nerfed probably here in the next couple weeks, just because it's just insanely good for a multitude of reasons. But like you got a bunch of builds here, ton of builds, like it keeps on going and going. You can load as pretty much like entire pages full of builds. Plenty of builds here to see what you want to recommend running. Let's go back to builds. I'll go back. Let's try a different type of weapon. Like they got brushes, rollers, chargers. Let's try the Bamboozler. What are people running right now with Bamboozler? You got one for splat zones. You got one here for all modes with a bunch of run speed, Ninja Squid, that type of stuff, and etc. etc. So hopefully this gives you guys some insight on if you're wondering for like a specific weapon and wanting recommendations for like whatever gear you're supposed to run, whatever gear you're trying to run. Hopefully this site helps you out, and hopefully this page does help you out. I forgot to include this in the last video, but I'll link that video on screen at the end of this video. More of a video, if you missed it, like how to build your own loadout and see all the stats and everything. I talk about it for like 20 minutes. I go in depth and tell you guys pretty much how everything works, and kind of I do like 1 or 2 examples in that video building my own like loadout for my gear. So if you guys missed that, go check that video out. Like I said, this is just like builds, like gear builds. This doesn't show you like the raw numbers of like what you're getting for like special saver or like swim speed or run speed. If you wanted like to do that, you would have to pretty much go in and build this entire build for yourself in the build analyzer to see those numbers. So keep that in mind as well. But if this video did help you, leave a like, subscribe, share the video. I got tons more of Splatoon content on the way. I got some possible weapon guides on the way. I also got game mode tip videos on the way as well for like tower control, zones, Rainmaker, Clam Blitz, that type of thing on the way as well. Depending when you're seeing this, they might already be out. And I also do stream Splatoon 3, so if you guys want to stop by when I'm live, turn on notifications, and feel free to drop by when I'm live. Usually I try to stream the game at least 2 to 3 times a week, usually from Friday, Saturday, Sunday is usually one of those days, or a couple of those days. We'll also be streaming Overwatch 2 here this next week, so if you guys want to drop by for that, we'll be checking that out on stream. Apart from that, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for stopping by, everybody, and hopefully this video helped you out, and I'll see you guys in a future video.